The Earth is 4 billion years old. Modern man has been around for only 35,000 years. His beast-like forefathers are supposed to have died out. But is it possible that an ancestor from the distant past still roams the Earth? The man-beast. Every landscape in the world is full of creatures which fit into the Earth's environment. Each has its place. Animals which do not adapt to their environment die out. This is the rule of nature. As Charles Darwin put it, there is a struggle for existence, and in that struggle, only the fittest survive. Years ago, the world was lush and green. Forests, jungles, mangroves, and woods, all with a life uniquely their own, provided sustenance for survival. The demi-world creature between man and beast possessed only his instinct for survival. Without tools or language, the man-beast lived by his wits. His only possible weapon was the club, a rather crude survival kit. The ability to use his brain came slowly. It is now a proven scientific fact that man was millions of years in the making. There were dead ends, new beginnings. He gradually learned to use fire and to make tools. 2 million years ago, he used crude stones to put a sharp edge on a pebble. This tool did not change for the next million years. Some creatures were stronger, some swifter. Some could see or hear better. Others were given natural weapons, horns, claws, venom. For a long time, man was far more the hunted than he was the hunter. He existed in a threatened world full of fears. Is it possible that any of these creatures could have survived? That a relic of man-beast, frozen in time, still exists today?
Bigfoot Center? Yes. Where did this happen? And your name? And your phone number? Peter? Yes, we will send someone out right away. Thank you. This one looks real good.
A reported sighting of the monster is a call to action for Peter Byrne, his staff, and his wife, Celia.
Tell me, Wayne, what does the thing look like?
It was an ape-like creature. It didn't walk on all fours. It was stooped over. And when it stood up, it didn't stand up erected. It was still stooped over. And I walked off into the woods, and it didn't make a lot of noise.
Was it very big, very muscular?
Yes, pretty muscular. The hair on it, I'd say, was about 2.5, 3 inches. And it wasn't a dark like a bear. It was tannish color.
And it didn't make any noises?
No, it didn't. It just observed, and the reflection from his eyes were yellow. And it just, it knew I was coming when I got up to it and just turned and walked off.
Peter and Celia Byrne worked together in the field, investigating reported man-beast sightings.
How many are there altogether? Let's see. We've seen about a dozen going up the hill. They're fairly well spaced. What do you think of them yourself?
Well, they're blurred, but I think that's because it's so windy. Why don't we take a plaster cast anyway?
I think we should do that. Maybe one or two of them up there, because they look more definite.
When the phone rings, I respond enthusiastically, because that could be the call which would lead us to a find, lead us to actually seeing one of the things and perhaps getting some pictures. When I grow a little tired or a little irritated at the hundreds of calls that come in that lead to nothing, I try to remember that one of the basic requirements of a good hunter is patience. If I do get impatient, I think of the fact that the creatures I'm hunting have managed somehow to survive here for 200,000 years.
Peter and Celia Byrne created a clearinghouse for authenticating man-beast sightings.
These are plaster casts, and when we find a footprint out in the mountains somewhere, we go out, make up a mixture and pour it in, and after a while it hardens, and this is the result. That's the big one there. And then, of course, we have comparative casts. This is a cast of a bear, the back foot of a bear, you know, just to show the difference between the two.
Where did you find these?
Some were found in Oregon, and some were found in Washington. That one over there in Oregon, and then this one here in Washington. And they're typical Bigfoot footprints, is what they are.
He has collected hundreds of actual stories, but none more mysterious than the case of the disappearing skier. It was a Sunday in May, 1950. Jim Carter and two close friends were breaking trails in a fresh powder. Carter, an expert skier, took off alone. Jim Carter had disappeared. He knew the terrain well. He was a bold skier, but not reckless. When his friends went searching for him, they saw irrational ski tracks that didn't make sense. Carter must have been terrified. It was their conjecture that something unusual and violent had happened.
These tracks lead down here and disappear. Yes, but there's none leading away. I don't understand it.
Carter's friends mounted a search, but in vain. Jim Carter was never seen or heard of again. Credible witnesses telling incredible stories. This is what Peter Byrne will have to work with in his search.
Introducing Kodacolor Gold 100.
I see your true colors shining through. See your true colors shining through.
Kodacolor Gold 100 gives you the most accurate colors, the truest colors of any print film.
Don't be afraid to let them show.
A new Kodacolor Gold.
Your true colors.
Which dog has a flea collar? They all do, but only the middle dog has the Scratch X 11-month flea collar from Sulfadine. With twice the flea-killing power, so it keeps working long after these others quit. The Scratch X Flea Killer is government approved to work 11 months, not 5 months like Harts and Sargents. Scratch X kills ticks too, yet it's safe for a 3-month-old puppy. For cats, there's a Scratch X collar too.
Today's Duracell lasts 30% longer.
They used to call me a tomboy. I'd climb these trees in my daddy's groves and eat the oranges fresh picked. I'd come home with orange nails and a sticky chin, and Mom would put me right in the tub. That fresh picked goodness is captured by Tropicana Pure Premium. The other major brands add things to or take things out of their juice. With Pure Premium, the way the rain and the sun make it is the way you taste it. Tropicana Pure Premium. You just can't pick a better juice.
These kids bug anybody, even a police officer. Making the bar scene to find them falls to O'Brien and Jambone.
You coffee?
Do I look like a cop? And the search pays off.
We beat those pigs!
But maybe he spoke too soon on Night Heat. Tomorrow on CBS Late Night.
There is no age limit for healthy blood donors to give urgently needed blood. Stay involved. Call Red Cross at 467-9905 for site locations.
Science and Kirk want you to know that after an accident, everything you say and everything you do can play a critical role in any legal proceedings that follow. So when you're faced with the confusion following an accident, call Science and Kirk's free injury information hotline. Because no matter where you are or what time it is, when you've got a phone, you've got a lawyer. Science and Kirk.
Good morning, Miss Perry's office. No, she's not in yet.
Miss Perry is late for work again.
Good morning, Miss Brown's office. Yes, I'll put you right through.
Ms. Brown is doing business thanks to 976 Wake. By calling 976 WAKE from her touch-tone phone, Ms. Brown can get a hotel-style wake-up call anytime she wants.
Good morning, Miss Perry's office. I'm sorry, she's still not in.
Call 976 Wake the reliable reminder. $2 per call. Calls return anywhere in D.C. and Maryland.
Since last November, a small town in upstate New York has been ripped apart while charges of racism and rape rock the headlines. The victim, 16-year-old Tawana Brawley, still refuses to talk. Well, on our next show, we'll go to upstate New York to find out how the community is surviving the scandal. Is the whole story a hoax? Why won't Tawana talk? And what about charges of a Tawana Brawley cover-up? Find out. That's on the next Geraldo.
Tomorrow at 4 on Channel 11.
These creatures are very fortunate in one aspect, and that is that they have an enormous habitat, which means that if they're spotted on a Monday morning, that on a Tuesday morning, 10,000 people are not going to go dashing into the forest saying, "There's a Bigfoot, let's go after it." The range in which they live is very protective, and if one is found tomorrow morning, it may be 6 months before there's another one found, or even 10 years. Their habitat is rapidly disappearing as we continue to consume the forests. It's an alarming fact that an American Sunday newspaper with a circulation of 1 million requires 140 acres of pulpwood timber for just one edition. It's this very process of lumbering which brought forth one of the most poignant stories in my files. It involves 7-year-old Cindy Halsinger, who lives near Mount Hood in Oregon.
Cindy's father was driving a lumber truck during the summer of 1972, transporting the huge Douglas fir and ponderosa pine logs from the forest to the sawmill. Cindy was on vacation, and one day, as a special treat, she was allowed to accompany her father. As her father was carrying a full load back to the sawmill, a chain securing the heavy logs came loose. It was while Cindy's father was out of the truck that the unexpected happened. Only later would her father learn what it was she saw. I always wondered who was the more afraid, the child or the beast. What would be very remarkable and very rewarding to me will be to see one and to make contact of some kind with it, to be able to communicate with it in some way. I know it sounds very far-fetched to see one like one of the sighting reports we've had where a man actually saw one at his campfire.
That's how communication might begin. It might raise its hand, you might raise your hand. You might give it something, it might receive it. But this is something I look toward. I think it can happen. And if it happens with me, marvelous. If it happens with somebody else who has the right approach, then good luck, whoever it is. I may die never having seen a Bigfoot. This is entirely possible. The law of averages says that I, you know, Peter Byrne, a single individual, may not see one. And it doesn't faze me. It doesn't bother me too much. I find the excitement of looking for one sustaining enough. And the evidence which I see occasionally, footprints, the sounds we've heard, things like that, this is enough to keep going. Of course, you know, hope springs eternal. I hope, you know, that I'll see one. I hope that Celia and I will see one. We would like to. And if we don't, well, that's fortune. That's fate. I have always been involved with wild creatures. Professionally and emotionally, I am a hunter.
His career began after the Second World War, when he left the Royal Air Force and worked in Darjeeling, northern India.
While I was there, I became interested in hunting, big game hunting, tiger, leopard, buffalo. And we hunted in the dense jungles that run along the edge of the Himalayan foothills.
In 1954, he established the first big game hunting company in Nepal.
It was a beautiful job, with lots of money, lots of adventure and excitement.
Then, in 1968, he stopped. He simply did not want to destroy beautiful animals just to put them on a wall as a trophy.
I left hunting and went into conservation, wildlife conservation. I could never kill a game. To me, the quest for the creature is what I call the ultimate hunt. Celia and I have done some searching on beaches. We walked on beaches and looked at the amount of natural food there is there, you know, edible clams, fish, and so on. We've never actually seen evidence on the beaches ourselves, but associates of ours, trusted associates, dependable people, have seen footprints, and there have been some sightings. The beaches of Oregon alone are vast. I think you're looking at probably 400 miles of beaches. We've done a great deal of searching, and we will continue to do more searching in the future. I think we realize now that this is not something we can drive out into the forest and see. This is not something we can say, well, today's the day we're going to find one, and go out and find it. We're dealing with something that is shy, elusive, small in numbers, living in an enormous area. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. And in this case, the needle is moving. It doesn't want to get found. So it will take years and years. But I am patient. I am prepared to wait.
Celia and Peter often talk of the anguish and frustration associated with their work.
Peter, do you ever ask yourself what you're doing in the Bigfoot search? What you're really looking for?
I do. It's a question that arises again and again, and one that's very important. Why am I really doing it? Perhaps the answer to that is that it's a hunt, and professionally and emotionally, I'm a hunter. This is the greatest hunt that anyone could ever go on. A mysterious creature, elusive, shy, nocturnal, living in an enormous area of extremely difficult terrain, and it's a near impossible dream. It's a near impossible challenge, yet it is a challenge to find one of these things. And of course, the ultimate excitement would be to see one. See one of these creatures would be like meeting a man stepping out of the primeval world and the prehistoric being. It'd be like reaching back into the past. This is what keeps me going. This is the spirit.
I don't know if I'm looking for a man or an ape, a creature somehow left behind, or a remnant that evolution passed by.
Sparkling, shimmering, Windex.
We're gonna have a party. We're gonna have a good time.
Street-free, ammonia D, only Windex.
They're here.
Shining brilliantly. Windex. Depend on it.
Just wait on the blueprints.
Just because your shirt is dry doesn't mean you smell good. That's why Sure introduces the best combination of odor and wetness protection in Sure history. The best ever.
Thanks.
Wake up! I could run off the road and you wouldn't know the difference.
I can't stay awake.
Here, revive with Vivarin.
Vivarin?
Helps wake you up.
Government-appointed experts confirm it's safe, effective.
Revive with Vivarin.
When she goes on her way, so bright and clean each day, you know it makes me wanna shout, 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 shout.
Now Shout's improved with 25% more cleaning power to get tough, greasy stains out. Better than spray and wash. Better than ever.
You know it makes me wanna shout, wanna toss stain out, shout it out.
Don't you just hate it? I mean, you're all set to wear your brand new swimsuit. The suit it took weeks to find. I mean, the suit is so great, it's gonna make your boyfriend drop the cocoa butter. And then the first sunny day, wouldn't you know it?
Kotex security tampons can protect that suit because security expands in not just one direction, but two for a more secure fit.
The lifeguard even dropped his cocoa butter.
Security tampons for a fit that really protects. You can count on Kotex.
Friday, love leads to an odyssey of terror for Sean Connery.
I can't ever be your wife.
Passion explodes 5 days, 1 summer. And Monday,
You're both suspended without pay.
Well, let's do it anyway.
the job's gone, but the fury remains for Hunter. Monday on CBS Late Night.
If you are 55 or older, a Baltimore resident with low income, Elders at Work offers training for potential jobs. Call 550-0975.
This magician is about to pour all this into this. Impossible? Wait. It's Popete, the amazing food storage system that starts out as an ordinary plastic container. Now watch. The patented accordion construction lets it grow to store 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, and much, much more. You create the size you need. Now you can perform magic in your own kitchen. No more searching for the perfect size. One size fits all. As you remove the contents, simply collapse each level of the container to fit the food, to keep food fresher, to save space. This giant juice container has only one glass left. Compare that to Popete, and look how much space you'll save. Don't struggle with burping flip tops that can warp and let in air. Popete comes with an airtight screw-on sealer to keep food freshest. Keep salads fresh, chips crisp, soda bubbly. Use them for camping, picnics, at the ball game. Popete is freezer safe, dishwasher safe. Go directly from freezer to microwave. That's one tough customer. Do your cabinets look like this? With Popete, you'll save so much space it's like having an extra cabinet in your kitchen. How much would you expect to pay for this amazing new storage system? These 3 Tupperware pieces sell for $14.95. These 2 alone sell for $19.95. But now, you get all this for just $19.95. You get 3-quart size Popete, 3 1.5-quart pieces, and 3 convenient half-gallon containers. Order now and we'll include the half-gallon Popete bottle. It collapses this small for easy travel anywhere. 9 containers, the bottle, screw-on caps, 20 pieces in all. The ultimate storage system. Just $19.95 on the special TV offer. Here's how to order.
Credit card users call toll-free 1-800-632-9600. That's 1-800-632-9600. Or to order by mail, send just $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to Popete, Box 500, Verona, New Jersey, 07044. That's Popete, Box 500, Verona, New Jersey, 07044.
The quest has drawn me to perilous but exhilarating places, running the great rivers of the Nepal Himalaya, probably the most dangerous rivers in the world. I had been waiting for 2 weeks for a most important message, permission for an interview with the Holy Lama of Bodhnath. As the messenger made his way to reach us in this incredible world of isolated and rugged beauty, I thought how lucky I was. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Yeti, or a vulnerable snowman, call it what you may, it has given me times of sheer frustration, but there are also moments of hope. Sometimes I feel like Ahab after the great white whale.
Right. Gonna hold it there, Bill?
The old Lama, Rinpoche Chini Lama, high priest of the Buddhist temple at Bodhnath, has granted me an audience. As I walked through the marketplace of Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, I hoped the Rinpoche could help. I was looking for eyewitness accounts of Yeti sightings. The Holy Lama, I was told, knew of the Yeti at first hand and could provide new clues for me to follow in my search.
And in the Himalayas. And in the Himalaya, one of those is the Yeti.
Oh, yeah.
And as you know, I have been looking for the Yeti.
But could not get now.
Could not find. You think there might still be a Yeti there?
Maybe, possibly, yeah. Can stay. Sometimes they come down to destroy all the field of cornfield and wheat field, potatoes field.
They come down to destroy
They come down and destroy.
And frighten the villagers?
Yeah.
This piece of bone that you showed me, this is a Yeti, a piece of Yeti bone.
How old would you say this was?
About 50 years back.
50 years back, I see.
It's very thick and it has a peculiar ridge on the top here. I must admit, I've never seen anything like this before.
And where did it come from? Which place?
This is come from Jarumpu.
Jarumpu?
Yeah. Jarumpu, Yeti are always staying there.
The mountains remind me of a line from a poem by Robinson Jeffers. Heartbreaking beauty that will endure when there's no heart to break for it.
The Sherpas of Nepal are a superstitious people, and the Yeti has become ingrained in their religion and folklore. Every Nepalese holds a firm belief in the existence of some such man-like creature. The word Yeti means dweller among the rocks, but Tibetans call the beast Meto Kangmi, which only loosely translated means abominable snowman. And so the creature became monsterized, despite the fact that it is harmless.
According to the Sherpas, the Yeti is covered with stiff, reddish-brown hair. The head is pointed and the face bare. Its call is a loud, wailing, yelping noise. It walks normally on two legs. There is an openness and sincerity about the Sherpas that I greatly admire. I would leave Nepal richer for my association with them, but unfortunately, this time, without a worthwhile discovery.
It would be hard to imagine anything wilder or more rugged than this stern country. Thousands of square miles of unexplored, impenetrable hiding places. Any beast of even moderate intelligence could lie hidden in the numberless small ravines, rock-strewn slopes and gullies.
I believe that the creature, which may have originated in China, came into contact with early man and was driven into the mountains to survive. He became a nomad, following the Eurasian mountain ridge into the Himalayas, and at the same time moved northwest into Russia.
Hundreds of reports of Yeti-type creatures in Russia have been suppressed by the government.
Russian fieldwork in this mystery of the abominable snowman or Yeti is very much mixed up with the idea of a relict hominoid.
British journalist Odette Chernin has been working closely with Russian scientists.
Something that has escaped, that hasn't found a slot in what is known as the ascent of man, or in some cases the descent of man, I think. I think the Russians are very far ahead in the sort of things that they have turned up down the years, because it isn't only in recent years, as I told you before, that...
Odette told me a fascinating story of a creature that was captured in Russia.
According to Odette, the creature was found in 1921.
Zana, that was her name. She was captured in forests, a rather wild part of Russia, when she was very young. She was covered with black hair and very savage and wild. They couldn't do anything with her at first. She was fastened to a post, and I have a feeling that she may have been, by some mysterious way, connected with these very, very rare tribes in Arctic Siberia called the Chuchuna, because they had the same characteristics of being covered with black hair all over them, and they were very wild. They had very long arms down to their knees, rather Yeti type, and they used to have bows and arrows that they made out of wood and covered themselves with bark or reindeer skin. She was really a most extraordinary case. After a while, she became a little tamer, and they arranged a sort of compound for her near the farmhouse. She could never live indoors. They never could have her indoors. She became a little tamer, and the only person whom she would follow, you know, or listen to was her master, the farmer.
extraordinary thing is that she produced two children. Each time there was a birth, she used to take the poor little beggar to the icy cold river and wash it there, icy cold. So, of course, the babies all died until the farmer's wife finally decided that the next one she would rescue it, which she did. And this accounts for some of Zana's descendants being quite human and living to this day in Azerbaijan. I think the Russians really have discovered, and that is down the centuries, that there are primitive remnants of very, very early man, almost Stone Age, and that these people have existed, and they still exist, in very remote parts of the earth.
She wears soft contacts. She looks great. She knows it. But her eyes didn't always feel great. Sometimes she wouldn't disinfect her lenses. Her eyes bothered her. Then her doctor switched her to Aocept. Aocept is so easy to use. She knows Aocept is working because she can see it bubbling. Her eyes feel healthy now because they are. Try Aocept. You'll see.
It seems like I was born with allergies. I really needed something made just for allergies. So I got chlortrimeton, 100% allergy medicine. It gives allergies the treatment they deserve. Take chlortrimeton, 100% allergy medicine.
Welcome to the world of Willow, and only Kraft can take you there with this exciting Willow poster. It's free at participating stores when you buy any 2 Kraft cheese products. So come, share in the adventure of Willow with Kraft.
Major appliances that aren't brand new can scare potential buyers away. If your real estate company can't protect them, you're not listed with the right real estate company because you're not listed with an ERA broker. How can you help your home sell faster? Protect the major appliances. If your real estate company can't do that, then you're not listed with the right real estate company because you're not listed with an ERA broker.
Fruit of the Loom fits America's men.
We fit America, adding color to your life, fitting the way you move today with a style that feels so right. We fit America, we're Fruit of the Loom.
For colors, stripes, prints, for briefs and bikini cuts, Fruit of the Loom fashion underwear fits America's men.
We fit America, we're Fruit of the Loom.
Next week on CBS Late Night, on Hunter.
You're both suspended without pay.
Well, let's do it anyway.
The job may be gone, but the fury's still there for Hunter. And trouble for the diamonds.
Your show is canceled, you will be too.
A deranged fan plans to get Christina steamed into oblivion. And a king bears a marked resemblance to Adderley.
How extraordinary.
And that's not all he's marked for.
You traitor.
Next week on CBS Late Night.
Now you can beat the heat with Lexico's $179 Famous Name Room Air Conditioner sale. Only $179 for Famous Make Room Air Conditioners. You won't beat this price anywhere. Room air conditioners to cool a summer's heat wave. Lexico's got them now, and you pay only $179. With Lexico's Easy Credit and Famous $5 layaway plan, these air conditioners won't last long. Get similar savings on all name brand appliances and furniture at Lexico, 501 West Lexington Street, across from Lexington Market. Come and get your $179 room air conditioner now.
Good morning, Mr. Simmons' office. No, he's not in yet. I'm sorry.
Mr. Simmons is late for work again.
Good morning, Mr. Fisher's office. Yes, I'll put you right through.
Mr. Fisher is doing business thanks to 976-WAKE. By calling 976-WAKE from his touch-tone phone, Mr. Fisher can get a hotel-style wake-up call anytime he chooses.
Good morning, Mr. Simmons' office. I'm sorry, he's still not in.
Call 976-WAKE, the reliable reminder.
$2 per call.
Calls return anywhere in D.C. and Maryland.
Car Center versus Chrysler Corporation.
Chrysler Corporation has issued the challenge.
Sell 100 new Chryslers and Plymouths in 3 days.
That's one vehicle every 20 minutes.
Car Center Chrysler Plymouth has accepted the challenge.
A special allocation.
150 of Chrysler's most popular models have arrived.
88 Horizons only $59.88.
Popular Voyager wagons.
Challenge price just $99.88.
Car Center cuts its prices on all inventory to meet the challenge.
You will not get a better price on the Chrysler Plymouth anywhere.
Car Center Chrysler Plymouth challenge sale.
Hurry before time runs out. North Point Boulevard, Dundalk.
Now's the time to look and see what your future is going to be. The jobs are here for you to try. Invest yourself, dividends are high. Experience the working world. An opportunity will sure unfold. You're our future and we trust in you. Show the world what you can do. Show the world what you can do.
Yeah, you're on it again.
The Manbeast has a voice. It was recorded by Alan Berry, a journalist from Sacramento, California.
What happened here, Peter, was this is from a night in 1972 in October. I'd been told by Warren Johnson and others of his party that they'd heard strange sounds in this camp, so I brought a tape recorder in to see if I could pick up any of these sounds myself. It was a remote, high mountain area, and I was aware that there had been some strange goings-on in this area from accounts of other people who had been there. And I got in there in the late afternoon. I set my tape recorder up. I put my mic, taped it to a tree a little ways away from where I'd be bedding down, and then proceeded to wait along and see what developed. Later on that evening, after it grew dark, I was tired from the hike in, and I began to doze off, when all of a sudden I was awakened by some strange sounds. It was very startling. I didn't know what to think. I had very mixed emotions. On one hand, I was wondering, well, could somebody possibly be out there doing it? Some human being? And on the other hand, viscerally, my knees were shaking and insides were turning a bit, and I was wondering if maybe what I was hearing was some creature that was stranger than anything that we knew. We've had the sounds analyzed since then at the University of Wyoming by a professor of electrical engineering there. And the results are the sounds could not have been made by man or any known animal.
The Manbeast originated in China, was driven to the highest mountains in the world, the Himalayas, and became part of Nepalese folklore. The peasants of Siberia also knew him. Across the Arctic he went and became part of the culture of tribes native to Northwest America. The Nootka and Salish of Canada, the Yakimas of Washington, the Salilo tribe who live along the Columbia River in Oregon, the Yuroks and Klamaths of Northern California, all spoke of the mountain creatures we now call Sasquatch, which is Salish for wild man of the woods. The names each tribe had for the creature were different, but all meant the same thing. Sasquatch, in Indian lore, a creature which left giant footprints. 7 to 8 feet tall, weighing 300 to 400 pounds, they walk upright. Thick fur, long arms, powerful shoulders, and a short neck. Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
The man-beast has been described by American Indians for hundreds of years. Sasquatch, Yeti, Alma. Could the Sherpas of the Himalayas, the Russian peasants of Siberia, and the American Indians of the Pacific Northwest all have invented the same prehistoric creature?
Sacred totems symbolize the Indians' deep reverence for nature. They accorded to all living things a divine spirit. Theirs has always been a reverence for life. To them, the Sasquatch was no imagined demon. If we are to convince modern science that the man-beast exists, we must learn how it lives and where it hides.
If Bigfoot exists, why have we found no evidence such as skeletons or bones? The answer is, they rarely are preserved in this region. If we are to find bones, however, it should be in the near future. Lately, the number of searchers has increased. Some of them have even come from the highly skeptical scientific community.
Sasquatch has changed over the years. Whereas formerly he was perceived as a frightful beast who stole women and children, he is now seen as a benign, gentle, and timid creature. In brief, Sasquatch has become demonsterized. But there's more to it than this. Sasquatch has also given us a boon. Sasquatch has become an industry that supports postcard manufacturers, t-shirt designers, tourist entrepreneurs, writers and researchers in popular or unpopular science, conveners of conventions such as this, and even a tired anthropologist from grim Chicago gets a chance.
Gatherings like this Sasquatch conference at the University of British Columbia do not mean the creature exists, but at least people are paying attention. This meeting was quite significant. It's the first time scientists and Bigfoot believers have gotten together. Old adversaries are finally talking to each other. Experts came from all over the world. One of the most fascinating reports was a compelling paper presented by a Soviet anthropologist. It certified the existence of a man-beast. A Russian zoologist, Professor Zarakova, was working in the Caucasus Mountains in 1956. According to Dmitry Bayanov, she woke up during the night to a terrifying sight. The Zarakova story was only one of many.
At the conference, we were told that the Russians are seriously studying the possibility that Almas are prehistoric ancestors of man that had migrated from China. Few scientists are willing to consider that Bigfoot also may be a form of primal man that did not become extinct as believed, but developed independently.
Yeah, we'll have
This theory goes back to the year 1934 in Hong Kong.
A Dutch geologist and paleontologist, Ralph von Koningswald, was on a study trip in Hong Kong when serendipity led him to a Chinese apothecary shop. It would also lead him to a discovery which would forever change the theory of evolution. Von Koningswald liked to browse in Chinese drugstores because Chinese doctors collected fossil bones and teeth and ground them into curative powders known as dragon's bones. On this day, a display containing a particularly huge tooth, a lower molar, caught his eye. It was 6 times the size of a man's tooth. What puzzled him most was that it looked human, but no human tooth was that large. The conventional view of anthropology at the time held that the evolution of modern man came in a straight line from a single species. But what if it was not a simple straight line of descent? What if several different human or near-human types lived simultaneously? He asked the owner where it came from. The owner did not know. It had been in the family a long time.
This set von Koningswald on a 22-year odyssey that resulted in one of the most remarkable discoveries in history.
Von Koningswald found evidence that there may have been at least 2 separate human species. Excavating throughout China, he uncovered the largest primate bones ever encountered.
The creature from which they came, von Koningswald named Gigantopithecus, the gigantic ape.
But was it ape or man? Could it be the ancestor of the abominable snowman or Sasquatch?
Half a million years ago, Gigantopithecus would have lived side by side with man. In any encounter between them, the giant ape would have been at a fatal disadvantage. It's generally believed that Gigantopithecus died out. But what if the giant ape simply moved into the Himalayas, for example? Might they not have survived there right up to the present?
These mountains are noted for their ability to isolate populations of animals in steep valleys and protect them from outside competition. Today, the Himalayas are truly a biological sanctuary, where creatures long extinct elsewhere continue to live in the inaccessible valleys.
On my last Yeti expedition to Nepal, I had seen several sets of tracks and heard incredible stories of sightings. This year, I had set out with my Sherpa guides to investigate those stories and relive some of the experiences in the exact location where they said they had heard a Yeti. The oldest Sherpa told an eerie tale. It was a winter afternoon, he said. 2 of us were returning from the Tibetan border. And on the last stage of our journey, a storm forced us to camp in a deserted cave. We made our way deep inside where it would be warmer. And we heard what we thought was someone calling out and coming in our direction. The next morning, in the fresh snow, we saw a set of newly made tracks of a creature walking on 2 legs. For all that we know to be true, however, we find an awful lot of wild speculation.
Bigfoot has achieved stunning notoriety. Some of the news coverage is far-fetched, some quite respectable. One unusual photograph sent Peter on an extended wild goose chase.
I was led to a farm where the owner was supposedly keeping a man-beast in cold storage. I was simply there to verify whether such a creature existed. Several articles supported by pictures claimed the farm's owner had frozen the creature in ice. But on the farm, I was met with evasion and suspicion. I was not allowed to see the creature that I knew was there, that I knew had been on display at carnivals. Making such a creature part of a carnival sideshow disturbed me. It damaged credibility and took Bigfoot out of the respectable scientific realm. Indeed, a frozen man was on display at carnivals. showman at one time claimed the body had been discovered by Chinese fishermen floating in a chunk of ice. He said he found it in a Hong Kong warehouse. Then later, he changed his story. He reported to the press that he came across the creature on a hunting trip and that he shot and killed it. Whatever the story, 2 scientists who briefly examined it say it may be the real thing. Real or fake? Myth versus reality. Again, the haunting question. If real, it would not be just another fossil, but an actual creature. I knew that it was supposed to be there, but before I could examine it, the creature was spirited away. A great deal of mystery surrounds the sideshow attraction I had been following. An investigator from the Smithsonian requested to see it and was refused. Without examining it, he concluded that it was a fake, probably nothing more than latex rubber and hair. I believed that the creature could be a young Bigfoot. I believed that it was real. I know they are nearby, and that there will be more and more sightings. The thought disturbs me. I sense that Bigfoot is in grave danger, that they may be close to extinction before we can prove they exist. Unfortunately, to scientists, that's not very important.
In anthropology, we investigate those things which are problematic to us by looking for them elsewhere. As long as Sasquatch is a personal rather than a collectively sanctioned experience, he will remain hallucinatory as officially defined by Western culture.
We didn't feel that if there was such an animal, that the animal had ever harmed anybody, or that it had done anything to deserve to be shot or captured.
We need a piece of the body. Nothing else will be accepted.
I think that there are many other ways of proving the existence of something other than killing that particular thing that you're trying to prove exists.
My preference would be to locate a hunter who was shot and killed one. And perhaps because he thought he killed a valuable animal or a peculiar human, he might not have said anything about it. But if he would come forward, perhaps we could examine the place where he killed it. And we might find a few bones, then the whole thing is settled right there. If we don't find such an old kill, then the only alternative remaining is to kill one now. Grisly as that sounds, I think that is probably what we'll have to do.
Why add more controversy to something that's already controversial? Although what we have to have is a specimen for scientific identification.
I think it would be morally wrong. I see no reason. In fact, I talked to a small boy, a schoolboy recently, and he said some people say shoot one to prove that they're there. And then he said, supposing the one they shoot is the last one.
My answer to that is, if they become extinct, so what? If they're not proven, it doesn't make any difference. We have a lot of animals that became extinct in the past, and there's nothing we can do about it. If this animal remains unaccepted, who cares if they become extinct?
Good morning, Mr. Simmons' office. No, he's not in. I'm sorry,
Mr. Simmons is late for work again.
Good morning, Mr. Fisher's office. Yes, I'll put you right through.
Mr. Fisher is doing business thanks to 976-WAKE. By calling 976-WAKE from his touch-tone phone, Mr. Fisher can get a hotel-style wake-up anytime he chooses.
Good morning, Mr. Simmons' office. Oh, I'm sorry, he's still not in.
Call 976-WAKE, the reliable reminder. $2 per call. Calls return anywhere in D.C. and Maryland.
Hey, let's pick up Steve and shoot some hoops.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, let's go shoot some hoops.
A little busy today.
Yeah, I see Charlie Rudo's hooked you up.
Go ahead without me.
Hey, you better come on, man. You're going to miss all the action.
Nah, I got something else to do.
Hi, Steve. Ready?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Get out of here.
Charlie Rudo Sports. It's an attitude.
Charlie Rudo Sports. I see
This message brought to you by the state of Maryland and Channel 11.
Conflict, the most developed will dominate. I realize that the greatest danger lies not in 10,000 years of survival. The greatest danger is man.
As civilized man cuts through the wilderness, chances of meeting the man-beast will greatly increase. As the private sanctuary is reduced, he will be forced to migrate. There will be fewer places to hide. Perhaps an ominous portent of what is to come is an incident which occurred in 1958 at a lumber site in the Bluff Creek area of Del Monte County, Northern California. It was August 27, 1958. A construction crew headed by Thomas Sauerwein was building a lumber access road in the Bluff Creek Valley. It was customary for the workers to leave their heavy-duty equipment parked overnight. The territory, incidentally, is virtually unexplored. At the end of their long workday, Sauerwein and his crew departed for the night. They secured their bulldozer and left it parked at the site. Sometime during the night of August 27th, the camp was visited, and perhaps years of outrage was finally vented by a puzzled creature. The next morning, the camp was a shambles. When the construction crew returned, they at first suspected a hoax. But there were unusual footprints around the bulldozer. Footprints 17 inches long. Sauerwein traced them down a steep incline from the parked bulldozer. The stride was enormous. It was 4 feet long. Then he found an oil drum. A nearly full 55-gallon drum of diesel oil had been flung like a toy. There was no doubt. It was the man-beast.
More and more, it is difficult to obtain eyewitness stories of encounters with Bigfoot. Those who tell stories publicly are often exposed to ridicule. I promise not to tell the woman's name. The story you're about to see is true. It happened on the Klickitat River in Washington. I think it's fairly obvious that if these creatures were dangerous, there would be a record if they charged through campsites and tore up tents and smashed things. They do no such thing. Whatever they are benign, innocent, inoffensive creatures. And this is one of the reasons, one of the things that engenders my feelings, my protective feelings, if you like, towards them.
The rainforests of the American Northwest were long thought to provide an inexhaustible bounty. Hundreds of thousands of acres rich in timber should have been able to supply all the products a nation needed. But lumber is a $30 billion a year industry, and the forests are being exploited. The trees that once sheltered the man-beast are disappearing.
If there really is, as I believe, a free-roaming man-beast on Earth, it must be a close relative from our distant and forgotten past. Proving its existence would be the most significant anthropological discovery of the century. If these creatures truly do exist, they need protection. We must look towards protective legislation. Even if there is only one left, we must protect this creature. I believe in the man-beast. There's historical evidence, there's the enormous habitat that can feed, support, hide them, and there's the very, very good evidence of the continuing eyewitness reports. And this is enough for me, enough to convince me that there's something out there, something worthwhile following. And when we look deeply into the wilderness, he will be there, as he has been for thousands of years. But this time, he will need help. Help from man.
Have discovered might be primitive remnants of prehistory that are found in geographical remote places of the earth on very rare occasions.
Stay tuned now for headlines from News 11, immediately following station identification.
Like meeting a man stepping out of the primeval world, a prehistoric creature of some kind.